Hi, this is John Erickson of CoreFatLoss.com, and in today's video newsletter we're going to discuss how to transition from Weight Watchers onto the Core Fat Loss plan. I got a message from Kim. She says that it's usually very easy for me to lose weight until recently. I was doing Weight Watchers but wasn't losing. I need help finding the right diet. And she goes on to say that she does not like eggs, pork, fish, shellfish, oranges, pears, rice, and does not like most vegetables. When I went over her eating program on her diet evaluation form that she filled out on my website, she says for breakfast she eats either cereal or oatmeal. Now, if you know the first premise of the Core Fat Loss plan is you need protein, carbs, and fat at every single meal. While on Weight Watchers, their philosophy is based on calorie counting, which does not differentiate between proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So on my plan, you have to have all three ingredients in one meal. So you can't have just cereal or oatmeal for breakfast. You have to have protein, cereal, and some fat, because the protein has to be something quick and easy for you to make. And since you don't eat eggs, I would go to Trader Joe's or Stop and Shop. They have good either turkey bacon that's uncured. They have mini breakfast sausage made of turkey or chicken. They have, you can have a quick protein shake in the morning consisting of 1 cup of unsweetened vanilla almond milk, 1 scoop of plant-based protein powder like Sun Warrior Blend, the one I recommend on my website, and just shake it up, and that would be a protein source. Or you can have the turkey bacon, 3 slices, or 3 to 4 breakfast links of turkey sausage. And that's your protein, and your carbohydrates is going to be a cereal, and your fat is the almond milk that you use to put in your cereal. Now you have to put almond milk, unsweetened vanilla, in your cereal, because if you use regular light 1% cow's milk, that's going to take up so many carbohydrates. There's 12 grams of carbohydrates in 1 cup of milk, so that would be overload with your cereal and the milk. So you definitely have to find the right cereal for breakfast. You need to have a high fiber cereal. I tell you which cereal I recommend in my shopping guide. If you go to the cereal section, you'll see that I recommend the regular Cheerios in a yellow box, because that has around 20 grams of carbohydrates per cup. And make sure you look at the serving size, because the cereal manufacturers manipulate the serving size to 3/4 of a cup to trick you into lowering the carbohydrates. So make sure 1 cup has about 20 grams of carbohydrates, and that's always total carbohydrates take away fiber. So it's very important to do the quick math before you determine how many carbohydrates are actually in your cereal. The cereals that I recommend are, I'll show you if you can read it, Rice Chex, and the other gluten-free brands that I recommend on my shopping guide. I show you the exact ones I recommend, and as well as some recipes of how to make cereal balanced on the Core Fat Loss plan. So you would have 3 slices of turkey bacon, cereal, 3/4 to 1 cup of cereal, and 3/4 to 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk, and you're done. So I just balanced your breakfast, and I'm usually adding food to people's diet. Now, if you want accelerated fat loss, you have to do the oatmeal, because the 5-minute or the steel cut oatmeal, because the cereal, based on its processing, is going to absorb a little bit quicker into your body compared to the old-fashioned oatmeal or the steel cut oatmeal. So you can have either one. You have to have your protein, your cereal, or your oatmeal. Oatmeal if you want maximum fat loss, and some kind of fat source would be a balanced meal. So Weight Watchers is just carbohydrates you're allowed to have in one meal, but in my plan you have to have proteins, carbs, and fats. Every single meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even your snacks need all 3 ingredients. So that breakfast I need to clean up. Okay, that's at 10 o'clock. Kim's next meal is a sandwich for lunch at 1 p.m. She has a sandwich with low sodium ham or tuna fish, which is fine. I just want to balance this the same way I did with your breakfast. Your sandwich, you have your protein, which is your ham or tuna fish, 2 slices of bread. I want to add some fat source to this. So can you have mayonnaise? If you don't eat mayonnaise, you can have a couple of nuts on the side, like 6 almonds or cashews, just to get some fat in you. So I would have a sandwich, 2 slices of bread with 3 to 4 slices of ham in the middle, or the tuna fish with mayonnaise, just to make it balanced. Now, if you look at the amount of carbohydrates bread has, I want you to have 20 grams of carbohydrates per meal. So most bread has around 12, maybe 14 grams of carbohydrates. So I want each slice of bread to have 10 grams of carbohydrates. I also show you which bread is good in my shopping guide, which the bread should be gluten-free for most people if you're gluten-free. Otherwise, you need to have a high-fiber bread that has around 10 grams of carbohydrates. So you can have 2 slices would have 20 grams of carbohydrates. And again, it's total carbohydrates to take away fiber. It's just to balance out your meal. If you have 2 slices of regular bread, you can be having like 28 grams of carbohydrates, which you need to lower to 20. So most bread, check your bread. If it's high in carbohydrates, you have to take away the outer slice, the crust. So you make a sandwich, don't eat the crust, or you can have 1.5 slices of bread, like a triple decker cut in half. Now, if you want maximum fat loss, you should not be eating a sandwich because you have to get rid of the bread if you want maximum fat loss. And instead of that, you would turn that sandwich into a lettuce wrap. So you would have your 3 slices of ham on lettuce. You can have a slice of Alpine Lace cheese, which would add the fat. Wrap it up, and then you'd eat that, which is just your protein. And mustard can go in that too because mustard is free. So that would just be your protein, and your carbohydrates would be an apple. So that would be a nice meal for you. If you have 3 slices of ham, 1 slice of Alpine Lace low-fat cheese, or any kind of low-fat cheese, wrapped up in a lettuce leaf, eat it like a lettuce wrap, and have a fruit like an apple on the side. So you just don't eat oranges or pears. So you'd have to have an applesauce snack pack, a cup of grapes, berries, or something else that I list in my book. I show you the exact fruits that you should have when trying to get the maximum fat loss. Okay, so that would be your lunch. I gave you 2 options for breakfast so far, the regular one and a maximum fat loss one. A lunch, you're also getting 2 options, which is one is the regular one, which is the bread, or you can have the lettuce wrap for maximum fat loss. Your next meal, between lunch and dinner, Kim likes to have something chocolate. Of course. Now, I just want to balance that chocolate, just like I balance every other meal. Chocolate isn't a bad thing. If you have dark 70% chocolate, you'd have a square of chocolate. It should be around 10 grams of carbohydrates. It's usually like 1 inch, 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches square. It's not the most amount of chocolate, but you can still have it. You would have to have a protein shake with it. So you have to have 1 cup of almond milk, 1 scoop protein powder, shake it up, slam it, and have the chocolate with it. Because the chocolate has the protein and the fat, and the protein drink is your protein. So that would be all 3 ingredients. And you need to have something around 4 o'clock, because if you eat lunch at 1 and dinner at, it says you eat dinner at 7, you need to have a snack around 4 o'clock just to keep you stabilized for dinner. Otherwise, you're going to overeat and be ravenous at dinner. So it's important to have something. If it has to be chocolate, you can also have a Kind bar. Look for the Kind bars that have 10 grams of carbohydrates, total carbs, take away fiber, per Kind bar. Because there's a tiny layer of chocolate that does the trick. And it's only 10 grams of carbohydrates. Is amazing that you can get away with eating that much chocolate in a Kind bar, and it gives you your chocolate fix. That would be a good option for you. And for dinner, Kim, it says varies. Now, Kim did not give me any kind of information about dinner. It just says it varies, so I can't help you there. Dinner is usually something quick, like protein, either a chicken or turkey, and turkey sausage, chicken sausage. That's going to be always on a corner of your plate. And then you're going to have a sweet potato with butter and some kind of vegetable. So that would be a standard dinner. There's 160 dinners in my Recipes for Fat Loss book. So I give you plenty of options. And if you're going out to dinner, restaurant eating guide. And the last meal of the day, we went through everything so far, would be a before bed snack. And what does Kim have before bed? Nothing. She eats dinner at 7, which is fairly late. If you go to bed within 3 hours of eating dinner, which would be like 10 o'clock, you do not need your before bed snack. But if you go to bed around 10:30, I would have a before bed snack. And that could be something quick, like plain Greek yogurt, a little blob of it on your plate, some berries, and slivered almonds. So that would have proteins, carbs, and fats. It would be 0% plain Greek yogurt, a scoop of berries, and some slivered almonds, 1 tablespoon. And then that would be a nice before bed snack because it mirrors ice cream. It's like cold, it's creamy, and sweet when you have the Greek yogurt, berries, and nuts. And that's also a good breakfast for you if you like that combination. You can have a blob of 0% Greek yogurt. It should be like 3/4 to 1 cup on your plate. 1 cup of mixed berries and a tablespoon of slivered almonds on top, or 10 pistachios. That for your fat source. And that could also be a nice breakfast for you. And this moving on is cod liver oil. What supplements does Kim take? She takes a chewable cod liver oil. Most adults should have the regular fish oil from Nordic Naturals is a good brand, or other brands are good if they're purified, concentrated, and third-party tested, so it doesn't have any impurities from the sea. Kids can do better with cod liver oil because there's both vitamin A and D in there. Kids can deal with the extra A. Adults, vitamin A can build up, so that's why we don't do the cod liver oil. And cod liver oil comes from the liver of the fish, which has all pollutants and toxins and crap. So it's got to be purified. And fish body oils come from the eyeballs and the guts and body of the fish, which doesn't have high amounts of vitamin A and D. So I would go for the fish oils instead of the cod liver. She cooks with olive oil, which is good. Olive oil or coconut oil works. No alcohol. She works out 3 days a week. So as far as transitioning from Weight Watchers onto the core fat loss plan, it's pretty much all about balance. Weight Watchers is a corporate company. They were invented by an IRS agent, and the company has just flipped over so many times, and it's just a stock market company where they're pretty much just worried about the numbers, and it has great camaraderie. If you ever saw the food that Weight Watchers serves, it's just a box, it's processed food in a box. If they were willing to serve you that, I would be cautious of what their motives are. They're just looking for profit. And Weight Watchers, philosophically, the calorie theory is an 1850s science before we knew about hormones. Weight Watchers is based on the calorie model, which is the point system. They're only concerned about the calories in versus calories out theory, which was developed in 1850. It's really old science, and they also think that fruit is free. Now, fruit cannot be free. You cannot neglect fruit because fruit, especially bananas, papayas, mangoes, and cantaloupe, honeydew, they're high glycemic. And you have to have your fruit in check. And you shouldn't have more than 2 fruits a day because the fructose in fruits is the most lipogenic fat, which means the fructose goes to your liver, makes your liver produce fat. So you have to caution with your fruits. Weight Watchers told millions of people that fruit is free. Now millions of people think fruit is free. You can't go around messing with people's brains that way and changing people's behavior the wrong way, because then I have to clean everything up and set everybody straight because of the corporate overlords that teach people this stuff, this aimless advice. So I would listen to my situation, which would be to balance your food, because we're concerned about controlling your blood sugar on a moment-to-moment basis. If you have just carbohydrates in the morning, your insulin is going to shoot up and go down, and you're going to be on a roller coaster all day. You need protein to sustain your blood sugar levels. And eating protein, especially in the morning, is like giving your car gas. It's like revving up your metabolism, because protein has twice the metabolic effect when compared to carbohydrates and fat. Because protein revs up your metabolism, and it's a long burner throughout the day. It's got to be there in the morning. It's got to be consistent. It's not a lot of protein, 3 slices of turkey bacon. And if that's too much food, having turkey bacon and cereal, or turkey bacon and oatmeal, then you have to tone down your protein and your carbs simultaneously, because you have to have all 3 ingredients in one meal: proteins, carbs, and fats, every single time you eat. That's the first, primary, most fundamental principle behind the core fat loss plan, is to have proteins, carbs, and fat at every single meal. On Weight Watchers, it's just calories to them. You're allowed to have just calories. And Weight Watchers also makes people afraid of fat. Fat, you can't be afraid of fat, or else you got to be afraid of your own brain, because your brain is 60% of the dry weight of your brain is made of fat. Fat becomes your brain, helps you think. Fat keeps your skin healthy. Fat is everything in your body, makes hormones, testosterone, and hormones called eicosanoids. The types of fat are very important. Do not think fat is just aimless source of calories. Fat is intelligent, and it can control your internal chemistry by eating the right amounts and types of fat. Fat, if you don't eat fat, you're going to be starving. Fat goes into your body and sends a chemical signal to your brain saying that you're full. And that's important on a diet. You need to be full throughout the day so you don't suffer. And on Weight Watchers, if you follow a calorie counting diet, which counts your calories and really decreases your food intake, metabolism becomes drab or weak. Your metabolism just starts to slow after a while. And that's a good revolving business model, because people gain weight, lose the weight, and gain it back, and then they need to keep joining. So Weight Watchers is good for the camaraderie, but the philosophical framework of the eating program is horrible. and there's no owner of the company. It's just 12 shareholders. Oprah, who's unsuccessful in every diet she goes on. So I would change over to Weight Watchers, and if you wanted to use processed food, Weight Watchers sometimes gives you the processed food, like the smart ones. Those are probably the worst ones on the shelf. You need to have the healthy choice. They make better quality, or the lean cuisine. That you can find certain ones that are balanced. And also in my shopping guide, I show you the exact frozen meals. Of course, you shouldn't be having frozen meals all the time, but there's certain frozen meals that are balanced, and I give you a list of them in my book of which lean cuisine and healthy choice meals are balanced, or other brands that you can find that fit our criteria. See, on core diets, on core fat loss plan, everybody has to fit your criteria. You're the center of your universe, so you don't let somebody just give you all of their brand name logos and surround you with their own logo. You're free to choose any logo that fits you. So you can have lean cuisine, any kind of product. You can go to McDonald's and create a core fat loss meal. You can go anywhere based on, use your own knowledge, what I give you based on the restaurant eating guide and the home cooking guide or the shopping guide. I give you the knowledge to situate everything around you, so you're in charge. You don't let anybody else be in charge of your nutrition. We live by principles and concepts, which is proteins, carbs, and fat at every meal. If you want to lose the most amount of fat, you have to lower the glycemic index of your carbohydrates and count your carbohydrates and structure them properly throughout the day. Then you have to eat the right amount of fats. I'm glad you're taking fish oil, but take the fish body oil, not the cod liver oil. Not a big deal, but I would definitely rather you take the fish body oil, and Nordic Naturals Ultimate Omega is the best one. And finally, the meal timing strategies, which we went over. Your meal timing strategies are okay. You're missing that 4 o'clock nice snack that's going to make you stabilize for dinner. And otherwise, that's all you got to do. This has been a video newsletter from John Erickson, your personal trainer and nutritionist in one. If you want to get your own diet evaluated, you can go to my website and fill out the diet evaluation form. Please allow 2 to 3 weeks for me to get back to you, and if you have a good evaluation, I'll do a video response.